So hello everyone, I have Pratyusha with me here. Okay, so Pratyusha will be today taking the mock interview with me here. So Pratyusha, can you start with your introduction?
Okay. Myself, Pratyush Kumar Trivedi. I am from Odisha. I am now doing my masters in VSSUT Bulla, and I am studying in data science for my mm, knowledge, and I am doing some project in data science.
So what kind of project you are doing? Can you tell a little bit about that?
I am doing a internship project like Big Mart Sale.
Okay,
In Big Mac Shell, we have to predict the item outlet sale. Means what are the item outlet sale based on the different type of feature. Mm, Based on the different feature, we have to predict what is the what is the sale of the outlet.
okay. So where from the data is coming?
This, this is dummy data. Like I download from Kaggle.
You downloaded from Kaggle. Okay. So what is the size of this data?
This is not big, just for 2 or 3 MB, like 50,000 to some rows.
Okay. And what are the features and what is that we are trying to predict in this particular use case? What are the features?
There are some item weight, and different type of item sale, item location, outlet location, like this. And we have to predict what is the outlet sale of the sale of the outlet.
Okay. So have you started on this use case or you have not started yet? I mean, solving the problem.
Yes, yes, I had already done this project. It is I am done this project in August month.
Okay. So how did you do the model building? Can you tell step by step?
First, we get the data from Kaggle. Then I do some statistical analysis, like find some information about the data, like what is null value is present or not, or then what is the correlation between the products. Then what is the describe, like what is the number of rows, number of columns. Like I, after that, I am doing some feature engineering, like if there is a null value, then I fix it by mean median mode. Then there is some outlier. By outlier, I use some standardization technique like min-max scalar, or standard scalar. then I am then I am then I am doing some trend test split. Then I am build a model. Then I try a different type of model, like it is a it first it is a regression type problem. So here I use first linear regression. Then I am going to mm, assemble type model, like bagging boosting type model.
So you spoke about mean, median, and mode, right?
Yeah.
So when do you choose mean and when do you choose median? I mean, if you have to do the data cleaning or for whatever purpose. So what kind of scenarios mean is better fit and median is better fit?
Okay. Mean is better fit when there is no outlier. Means our data in the same distribution. If there is some outlier, then our mean get get so many violet. But median always stay constant. So when there is a outlier type of data, then we use median. Otherwise, you go with mean.
Okay. So how is mean different from median?
Mean is basically the average of the all the numbers, but median is the only it tells us what is the middle value of our data. So in so median only tells middle value, so it does not affect is there any outlier or any data disturbance. But mean calculate the average, so any data distribution or any outlier, the mean heavily affected.
So when you say median is the middle value,
Mm,
right? So middle value is okay. I'm not saying it's a wrong definition, but is there anything that you want to add to the definition of median? I mean, better definition of median?
No, I don't know.
Better middle value is fine. I mean, you sort the number and you take the middle values. If there are two middle values, you take their average. That is fine.
Average. Hmm.
That is fine. But median is basically the, when somebody talks about median, that is nothing but 50th percentile, right?
Huh.
50% of data below that and 50% of data above that. So that is how mathematically it is. So whenever somebody explains you medium, they will take data, sort it, and show you. That is fine, not a bad way, but mathematical understanding is this. Okay, fine. After that, you spoke about min max scalar, right?
Hmm.
So what is min max scalar? Can you tell me?
Min-max scalar is a like standardization technique. Means in this, like in our real life data, the data are in varies in many wide range. Like in salary, there is a 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, or in 10 lakh, 15 lakh. By doing this type of large number, the machine got take many time to run, many time to train. So in min-max scalar, we scale down to -1 to 1 in that range. For that, the train of the model got faster.
Training of the model becomes faster.
Huh.
Okay. Anything else that is the purpose of scaling?
For scaling, we also see our the distribution in normal distribution.
Okay. Any other scaling methodology you are aware of apart from min max scalar?
Standard scalar.
What it does, how it is different from min max scalar?
In min-max scalar, only data range from -1 to +1. But in standard scale, it says that the data standard deviation is equals to 1 and mean equals to 0.
Okay. Okay. And that is how it will create the data points, right? What it will do if you give a
Huh.
category? What it will do if you give a categorical variable?
It not do in category, it only do in numerical variable.
So what do you expect in error? I mean, will it say that it's an error, or it will convert it to dummy and
Huh. No, it gives the error so that we convert first category to into numerical, then we scale down.
okay. So tell me one thing, what model, machine learning model you used in this problem?
Here I am actually, it is my first project, so I am not aware of that which is best model. So my colleague said, you try all the model, then you choose the where the best is comes.
Okay. So what models you tried?
I am tried first linear regression, then I am going to decision tree, then I am going to random first, and last XGBoost.
So which model you selected in the end?
XGBoost.
Okay. So can you explain how XGBoost works?
Hmm. Firstly, XGBoost is a assemble type of model. In assemble type, we combine weak learner and make them a strong learner. In XGBoost, it is a
What type of model you said?
weak learner.
No,
There are
no.
different type of
XGBoost is what type of model you said?
assemble type of model, boosting model.
Assemble. Can you spell that?
ENSEMBLE.
Okay, okay. Ensemble. Okay.
Huh.
I was saying you're saying assemble. Okay, no problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Ensemble type of model of boosting type of model.
Okay, so how it works?
It works. Firstly, it works in sequentially. It XGBoost is a in XGBoost. In XGBoost, there is a many of the decision tree built in sequentially. It acts as a first we give all the data to the first model. Then it gives an output. Then it predicts some misclassified data. Then we go to the next model, but here we first priority to the misclassified data, then our whole data. Then it as we first priority the misclassified data, so it first take care of the misclassified data, then our data. So now misclassified data is gone out, and again it produce some misclassified data. By this we follow this sequence until our misclassification is obsolete. Like this, XGBoost is worked.
And if it is a regression model, then
If it is a regression model, then the output we take the mean value of the output. All the output we take the mean. Then the result.
then you calculate the error and then you see the maximum error difference and then go accordingly, right?
Mm.
And XGBoost is a boosting algorithm, and XGBoost is also famous for some of the model tuning point of view, right? So what are some of the parameters, some of the important parameters of XGBoost that you remember?
First main important parameter is n estimator. N estimator tells that how many number of models you build in XGBoost. Then
Okay.
is then second is learning rate. It is the most important. We choose learning rate minimum value like 0.01, 0.001, so that it takes some time and give the best result. And then there is a mean sample split, max depth, like this.
Okay. Anything else?
Mean sample split, mean sample lift. I remember this.
Okay. Okay. Not an issue. So can you explain me learning rate with a simple example, real life example, learning rate, how it is important?
Learning rate means there is a many type of we provide number of models in a in a machine. So by adding this learning rate, the error factor of the model can be reduced because we add some learning rate with the with our the prediction. So by learning rate, the error becomes reduced.
Yeah, but how it reduces the error? I mean, what it does internally mathematically?
Don't remember.
That's okay, not a problem. Uh, so which other algorithms you are aware of in machine learning side?
Random forest, decision tree, linear regression, KNN.
So can you tell me how is the so KNN is a supervised machine learning algorithm or unsupervised?
KN supervised machine learning algorithm.
Okay. Decision trees.
Decision tree supervised.
So how is decision tree different from a regression model? Just some high level main differences you have to tell me.
Can I repeat the question?
How is decision tree different from a linear regression model?
Linear
Some
regression model.
yeah, some high level main differences you have to tell me.
Okay. First main difference is we have give some assumption in linear regression, but decision tree there is no such type of assumption.
What are the assumption in linear regression? Some assumption if you
First main important assumption is the data must be in linear in nature. Like if y increases, then x increases, like in linear manner. Then second is there is no multicollinearity between the features. Then
why just hold on for a moment. So what is multicollinearity and why it is a problem? Can you tell me why we should not have multicollinearity?
multicollinearity is the if there is a two picture in our data. If we plot some correlation, then these two data are highly correlated to each other. So if we go with
Data you are saying two data means what?
two picture
Okay, okay.
two feature are correlated to each other. So if we do some model on this, we get we get the some result. So if we eliminate one of these, so the result might not be deviated. So so why we take these two? So we eliminate one. By this we also be by this we also get the same result. So there is if there is multicollinearity, then our linear regression model get deviated by the number of features.
Deviate means what? I mean, how do you explain this deviate mathematically? What will happen if I have two variables which are highly correlated in the linear model? What will happen internally to my model mathematically? So how do you explain a regression model? For example, if there is a regression model saying y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3, how do you explain this beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 to someone?
Huh. Beta 1, beta 2 is the first it is a multi-linear, multivariate linear regression. In this, we use number of features. So beta 1, beta 2 is beta 3 is related to number of features. Like there is three features, so we use beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3 plus beta 0. Here we have to predict the beta 1 beta 1 beta 2 beta 3 and beta 0, so that we have predict the y value.
So if let us say beta 1 is, for example, 1.2, just a number I'm taking, beta 1 is 1.2. So what is, how do you explain this 1.2 to business? What is the business explanation of this, or a simple in plain English layman's explanation of this 1.2? So we can simplify the equation. Let us say y is equal to mx plus c, just one x, one y, and one c. Okay. So let us say y is equal to mx plus c. Here m is, let's say for example 0.7. So how do you explain this 0.7 mathematically? Is there an
Let y equal to
yeah, please go ahead.
let y equal to let y equal to mx plus c. If we plot y is equal to mx plus c in graph, then there is a straight line, straight line draw. So in straight line, if we try to analyze, if when x is equal to x, when x is equal to a number, then what is the value of y? So then plot a we plot a slope. That slope represents the m value.
Yes, slope is right answer, not the wrong answer. But what I want you to tell me is, uh, what is the meaning of slope? I mean, what does slope say? Slope is a mathematical term, right? So I'm asking you in plain English, what is slope?
Slope represents the relation between x and y.
You are correct, but any better explanation? For example, for every unit shift in x, there will be this much shift in y, something like that. Okay, that's fine, not a problem. So you were talking about assumptions of linear regression. So we spoke multicollinearity, then we came this side. What else is the regression assumptions, linear regression assumptions?
Then if we plot, if the data must be in normal distribution form, the features are must be in normal distribution form.
Features. Are you sure?
Features of data.
All the features.
No, sorry, target variable.
Okay. What else? What else is the linear regression assumption?
Last one, I'm not remember last one.
Okay, fine. So these are the, you told linear regression is different from decision trees. Linear regression has these assumptions, right? So how else is regression model different from decision trees? How else?
Decision tree can be applied in non-linearity of data. Like you have some S-shaped curve, like some U-shaped curve. We apply easily in decision tree regression, but it is not apply in direct in linear regression. That
Okay.
is the big difference.
So is decision tree a better algorithm than linear regression?
Than linear regression, decision tree is a better algorithm.
Always?
Not always. It depends on the data. If we have a linear separable data, why we go with decision tree? Linear regression give us better better result. So why we do in decision tree? So depend
Okay.
on the data.
Okay, cool. So I'm seeing your resume. Okay. So I can see some of the terms like PCA. Can you explain me PCA?
PCA is a principal component analysis. Mm, here we can it is used for the selection of the feature based on the variance of the data.
Selection of the features based on the variance of the data. High level, it's okay. How it works internally, mathematically?
Internally, if firstly we give the data into the PCA, then we give some then it calculates the variance of the data. Then which has less variance, it select, and otherwise it eliminate the features.
Okay. Variance of individual features you are talking about.
Mm.
So in my data, if there are 5 features, you are saying if I run a PCA, highest feature, uh, highest variance features will come,
Mm.
and features which has less variance will not come. That's what you are saying.
Huh.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me how is covariance different from correlation?
Covariance depends on correlation.
Yes.
Okay. Firstly, covariance.
Hmm.
Covariance only gives us the direction of the data, like it gives the positive or negative of the data, or it ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. But correlation gives direction as well as strength of the data. Strength means how correlated the data, how correlated the feature of each other. It also gives the mm, direction, and it gives the strength of the data, and it ranges from -1 to +1.
Okay. So covariance you told it gives only direction.
Hmm.
Correlation you told it gives direction and strength both.
Strength. Hmm.
So covariance does not give you strength of the relation.
No, no, it only gives direction.
Are you sure? Because covariance will be a number, right?
It gives only direction.
So if the covariance is 40 in one time in some other data, and if the covariance is 40,000, you are saying plus 40 and plus 40,000. You are saying it does not make a
Plus or
difference.
minus.
It does not make a difference magnitude. You are saying. For
It
example,
only gives the direction.
I have two different tables. Okay,
Hmm.
table 1 and table 2. In table 1, I am comparing two columns covariance. I am getting covariance plus 40. Okay. Table 2, I am comparing two columns. I am getting covariance plus 40,000. Okay. So according to you, this 40 and 40,000 is no different because it does not give any strength, right?
Incovariance.
Yeah. Is that what you are saying?
Huh. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me one thing. Are you aware of what is measures of central tendency and what is measures of dispersion?
Measure center. Huh. Yes. Measure central tendencies are mean, median, mode,
Hmm.
and the dispersions are variance and standard deviation and range.
Okay. So if there is a data, right, and in that data, I want to fit a machine learning model. Okay. So the low variance, having low variance is good or having high variance is good
Low variance is good.
for all models.
Huh. For all models.
Okay. So I'm just giving you 5 numbers. Okay. Let's assume 5 numbers:
Hmm.
x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Let us say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay.
Now there will be a standard deviation and there will be a variance of this number, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So let us assume that standard deviation as some number and variance as some number. Okay. Now I make this 13 as 130. Okay. So your new data is 10, 11, 12, 130, 14.
Okay.
So what happens to the new standard deviation and new variance as compared to the previous?
Okay. the standard deviation variance does not change by adding the 133.
You understood the question, right? I am multiplying one number by 10 times.
Yes, yes, the variance not change. It only mean median change, but variance or standard deviation not change. It remains constant. It's same.
Okay, you want to think on it again. I am changing just one number, not all the numbers.
Variance not change because variance is based on the mean. Your mean is mean change, so variance is not change. Variance remains same.
Variance is based on two things actually. One is
Huh.
the value and other is the mean of the
Mean.
population, correct? So
Hmm.
here in my new data, mean is changing or not changing?
Mean change.
Mean change.
Hmm.
Values, individual values are changing or not changing?
Value change.
One value is changing, rest are constant, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So do you think variance will change or not change?
I think variance is not change.
Okay. After this, I want you to calculate and just drop
Okay.
me a comment in this video. Okay. So do you understand probability concepts?
Hmm.
So can you tell me the difference between addition rule and multiplication rule in probability?
I don't remember probability.
Okay. Do you remember conditional probability?
Huh. Huh. Yes.
So can you tell me what is conditional probability?
Conditional probability says that mm, there if there is a if there is a condition of A, mm, mm, it says that if a coin toss, what is the probability of the getting head or tail like this? Then it based on the some condition of the data.
Okay, okay. So this is about conditional probability. And then are you aware of what is normal distribution?
Yes, normal distribution.
Can you tell me what is that?
Normal distribution is a in normal distribution the it is a bell shaped type of curve. In this in this the middle point is the mean, and the here in the data range between first standard deviation, second standard deviation, third standard deviation. In first standard deviation the data is 68.5, and in second standard deviation 95, and in third division 99.6. 99.6.
When you say first standard deviation,
Hmm.
there are some of the viewers in my channel Unfold Data Science who are very new to data science. Okay. Can you explain for them what I understand what you are saying? Okay. I want you to explain to them what do you mean by first standard deviation with an example.
First standard deviation, it says that the data are between in 65 68.7%, like those data above the this this accepted this accepted data which are below the 68 percentile, and the above that are mm, mm, go into the second standard deviation.
So what is the meaning of first standard deviation? There will be a range, right? There will
Hmm.
be a range. For example, a range can be 10 to 20.
Hmm.
So in a normal distribution, you are saying 68% of data.
Hmm.
I want you to tell me what is that range? 68% I understood.
Hmm.
But what is that range? You are saying one standard deviation I understood. But it has to be a number, right? So where from those two numbers will come? I mean the range numbers.
Means it range from 0 to mm, 0 minus 68 to plus 68. Minus 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 mean plus one standard deviation to plus one plus mean plus one standard deviation.
Come again, come again.
Minus mean plus one standard deviation to plus mean plus one standard deviation, or mean is equal to 0.
Minus 1 standard. So basically it is nothing but mu plus minus sigma. Okay,
Huh.
mu minus sigma to mu plus sigma. Mu is mean and sigma is, what is sigma?
Standard deviation.
Yes. Okay. So you have worked all these whatever work you have done, right? You have done using which tool? Python, is it?
Right.
Python. Okay.
Python.
So what packages you have used in Python work?
I'm using pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, or sklearn.
Okay. So can you tell me how is Python array different from Python list?
Okay. Firstly, the main difference is the array contains single type of data, like it contains only integer, float type of data. But in list, we can add different type of data type, like we can add float, we can add object type of data, like string type of data. Then in array, there is there we should be initialize the array for getting the for import the array. But in list we can direct use the list by using the square bracket.
Okay. So suppose there is a list. Okay. There is a list. In that list value is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 integers. Okay. What I want to do is I want to change this 2 with my name. You got
Okay.
it? So I want the new list as 1 Aman, which is a string, and 3, 4. How can I do that?
Okay. Let a equals to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Initially A is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
I want to change this A. I want to make it 1 Aman 3, 4.
Okay. So we take the index of where we change, like 1 2 2 is the 0 1 index. It start from 0 to n 0 to n minus 1. So 0 1. So it one index. So a of 1 equals to Aman.
A of 1 equals to Aman. Will that work? Are you sure that will work?
I pass the index value so that it, otherwise we can use the insert operation.
Insert operation. Okay. How insert operation? So in Python, which IDE you have used? I mean, which platform you are coding in?
I will PyCharm or Jupyter.
Jupyter, right? So for example, if you are writing a code in Jupyter and I have to use that code without using Jupyter, how can I use that? Jupyter will be IPython notebook, right?
Yes.
So IPython notebook, how can I use in my other environment, let's say Spider or plain Python?
Direct use IPython. There is an option by this we can convert this IPython to a py file. By download this py file, I can use this by importing this file. Import a.py. By this we can use.
Okay. So tell me one thing. Let's say you are you are doing some work in Python, and you have written some very nice function. Okay. In your Jupyter notebook or wherever you have written some very good function. I am very impressed with your function. I want to use it for my work. Okay.
Okay.
So how you will give me your file to me and how I will use your function without writing it?
Okay. First, I am make a addition function. Addition function.
Example, yeah.
Then I am save in the sum.py.
Hmm.
Okay. Then I am giving this file sum.py. Then if you add something, then you simply import sum. आज आज कर import sum After that, you can direct access the function sum dot add. Uh, by this, you can add any number.
Okay, so you are saying I can import and then use that function.
Hmm. Yes.
Some dot your
Yes.
function name, right?
Function name. Yes. Yes.
Okay. One more thing in Python. Can you tell me what is Python path?
Python path is the we Python path is where is the Python is where is Python is stay in my computer. This is the path of the Python.
Why it is useful? I mean, in what context or in what places it is useful? Python path.
Python path is basically used for when we do in some command line programming. By we can installing some libraries, or we can access some Python file. mm, in this very useful.
Okay. So, Pratyush, I think question part is done. Okay.
Yeah.
I will just give you some honest feedbacks. Okay.
Okay.
So don't take my feedbacks personally. I'm not
No,
trying
no,
to
no.
put you down or something. I want you to do good. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And I want other people who are watching this, they also should learn. So Pratyush is a very good candidate actually, guys. He has answered almost all the questions. Very few questions he is not able to answer, which is perfectly fine. Okay. Some of the questions where he struggled is PCA, multi-collinearity. These places he struggled a bit, some places, but that is perfectly fine. Okay. 70-80% of the questions he answered. From knowledge point of view or understanding point of view, it's good. Obviously there is always scope for improvement. I can also learn more, you can also learn more. Okay, that is from knowledge point of view. And your machine learning understanding is good, Pratyush. Your all these Python questions I'm asking to you because I want you to, I wanted to understand if you have really worked, right? And you have worked. Okay, that I can understand from the way you are answering in Python and in ML also. Stats is one area, stats and mathematics, where be it probability or be it some other concepts, you are a little bit struggling. Normal distribution also, that part you must take care. So data science is all about three areas, right? Your machine learning understanding is good, your Python coding is good. Just take care of your stats part. Anyway, you have not done a lot of projects and you are not into this line for long. So whatever you have worked on, whatever you have done, you are good at it, no issues. Now I will give the feedback on your resume in the end. Okay, I can see some issues in your resume. Before that, I want to give you some non-technical feedbacks. Okay, first is you are not looking into the camera. I mean, many a times you are looking up like this. So once or twice it is fine. I mean, it is fine when we are thinking something. We are looking up. We are sometimes looking down like this. That is fine, but try to minimize it. Okay, so do not look like, in every question I'm asking you, if you go back and see the interview, you will be thinking like this. So it is little, if you can improve on that, that is one thing. Second is, if you are knowing so much of things, right, no need to be afraid of interview or anything. So in the beginning when I started the interview, I felt you are little slight nervous. No need to be nervous because you have worked on many things, you know many things. So nothing to be, see, no, nobody is perfect. Okay, even if,
Only this is my first interview. So
that's fine. So I hope you are having a good experience.
yes, yes,
Okay, so no need to be afraid. I mean, what will happen maximum? You will get rejected. Nothing else, right?
yes, yes,
Just be confident. Okay. One more thing I want to tell you, since I have spent some of my time in Odisha, Bhubaneswar.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So I'll tell you something. You have something known as mother tongue influence.
yes,
Okay. I can also speak Odia, so I can understand well. Okay, so some MTI is there. Try to see if you can improve on that front little bit. It's
yes,
not a showstopper, or it's not a, it will not hamper you much. But if you can take care of that, it's always good, right?
yes.
Everybody will have that, but try to look into that part. Okay. And now I will come to your resume. For that, I will have to share my screen to you. Okay.
Okay,
For everyone's benefit, guys, I'm sharing the screen. This is the resume that Pratyush has sent me. Okay. So resume is, since Pratyush is not working in industry, so this resume from the first look only looks like a university or college resume. Okay.
yes,
I don't have any say on that. That's fine. Okay. But you see this statement here. This is something I did not, you know, appreciate much. As the hype of data science increased day by day, I am very much excited to work in this field. This line is something, it's not going that great, I think. Okay. So hype is increasing is not a good way of saying it. Try to, I understand what you are trying to say, as the industry is growing, as the demand is growing. So this is a good thing you want to say, but you can say it in another way. Okay. I'm sure you can definitely change this. As this field is research oriented, doing this job is the ability. So try to add some more professional terms. Okay. See this line, there is no problem with this line. Okay.
Okay.
As this field is a research oriented, but somehow it is not looking very professional or very, you know, the message is not coming out very clearly. Okay. So try to see some resumes on the web. You will find many resumes, I mean sample resumes. Try to see how people are writing their objectives and introduction, and then you can work on that. This is about the content. Format anyway you can change, not a problem. These things you have written less, which is okay. I mean there is no problem with that, because whatever you have worked on, that only you should write.
Yes.
And in these areas, whatever I ask you, you're able to answer, so this is fine. Okay. Some projects. So one more thing, Pratyush, you want to highlight this as your main project, right?
Okay.
Big Mart sales prediction. So put
Yes.
this project on the top. See, anybody comes from top to bottom, right?
Okay.
So the first project they will see is this Big Mart. I mean, you decide which project you want to put on the top. Okay. And put this project on the top. Okay. So what will happen is when and also I want you to write some bullet points here. This is fine. For example, you are writing something about what this project was about, blah blah, but also some bullet points, right? For example, you spoke about the data cleaning, so some high level pointers on what you did. You tried various models, that also you can put as a bullet point. So what I mean to say is try to enlarge what you have done.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Whatever projects you want to put as main project, put that always on the top, and then you come down based on what you want to show next and next. Okay. Personal details is fine. You have not put many personal details, which is great. I mean, these things are the, you know, not too much interesting for any recruiter.
Mm.
Later HR people will see all this, but in the beginning, technical interviews I'm talking about. Technical interviews, people will be interested in your what you have done. Okay.
Mm.
So this is mostly all about your feedback. You are good. There is no doubt about it. Few things that I pointed out. Try to take care of that, and then you will get better day by day. Anything you want to ask me, Pratyush, feel free to ask.
Sir, you upload some advanced method in machine learning in your channel.
Yes. So what I'm trying to do is, that's a good suggestion. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create one round of basic things. Okay. So if you see, one round of NLP is done, one round of ensemble is done, one round of regression is done. Once I complete one round of Python is done, one round of big data is done. I mean, it's in progress. Once I complete all these one set, right, then I will add more videos in these playlist only. That is the plan. That's a very good suggestion.
Okay.
Anything else, Pratyush?
No.
So it was very nice talking to you, Pratyush. If you like my videos, kindly share within your friends
Yes.
and your groups. I mean, data science groups, not family groups and all. Family groups won't help. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
okay. Mm.
So stay in touch. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Talk again if needed. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.